Hey folks, welcome to Weekend Technical Analysis Update by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. This Weekend Technical Analysis Update is for Monday, October 18th through Friday, October 22nd, 2010. Well, folks, what you're looking at here is Friday's action. This is Thursday's action over here, and again, you can see that overall it's been a very, very whippy last couple days of last week. Early in the week, we saw a little less volatility with the markets generally floating higher, making a pivot high at 118.60 on the SPY before pulling back on Thursday, gapping up on Friday and reversing, and then going into an options X whipsaw just towards the end of the day. Overall, what are you looking at next week? That's the big question, and I'm going to tell you what the answer is right now. Next week, look for a pause or quiet to flat, slightly higher day on Monday, assuming, and this is big, assuming that the overall market activity is not affected by any news over the weekend. Now, why would Monday be quiet? Well, Mondays in general are quiet, folks. Just of late, we've seen the lightest trading volume days on a Monday. So you have to say that going into Monday, that could be the case. In addition, I think there's a lot of players out there that are going to wait until the earnings Monday after the bell and Tuesday morning before they really position themselves for the rest of the week. So what I'm saying to you right now is Monday should be a lackluster day, maybe a little bit of upside, really going to depend on the dollar. Watch that dollar trade. That dollar trade will be the number one thing you have to pay attention to for Monday. However, Monday, as soon as the markets close, you get Apple Computer and IBM to report earnings, folks. And again, let's go take a look at IBM's chart on the daily. Take a look at IBM. What a move. Recently, just over the last 6 weeks or so, it's gone from basically 123 to 141. It was down slightly on Friday, but nonetheless, it's been an amazing run. They will be reporting earnings after the bell on Monday. In addition, Apple Computer. Right here, you can see some different levels on Apple. Again, Apple hitting 315 into the close, topping out again on Friday with a big squeeze towards the late day session, as a lot of traders didn't want to hold it over the weekend going into the earnings Monday at the close. So again, these two stocks will be pivotal, major players for Monday after the close, which will affect Tuesday's trading day. In addition, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs reports earnings on Tuesday morning along with Bank of America. Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, along with the other financials like Wells Fargo, WFC. Look at that drop on Wells Fargo on Friday, folks. Unbelievable, nearing actually double bottom support. And JP Morgan, let's not forget JP Morgan here. Look at JP Morgan get crushed the last few days. JP Morgan reported earnings right here on Wednesday. The market or the stock gapped up on Wednesday, and look at the drop it's had since then. Why? Because the foreclosure mess is unbelievably bad right now. It's far worse than anyone anticipated, and it's looking like more and more of these banks are going to take huge losses based on the amount of foreclosures. Now, right now, a lot of the foreclosures have even been halted, but that's actually worse because over time, the values will drop even more. We know that housing prices are going to continue down. My projection show another 15 to 20% drop in housing prices. So the delay in foreclosures is only going to hurt these companies more and more as they try to figure out the whole paper nonsense that was going on that was reported last week. So again, very, very poor on the financials. However, the big question will be, and we're going to find this out Tuesday morning, is whether or not it's as bad as the stocks have dumped out here. My guess is they may be due for a little bit of a bounce on the earnings of Goldman Sachs and and Bank of America coming in next week on Tuesday morning. But my point again goes back to the SPY. If we go back to the SPY here, this is the daily SPY showing the levels. Look at the rally we've had. Basically a 12, 13, 14% rally in the SPY over the last 6 weeks or so. But going to the intraday, folks, you have to say to yourself, again, looking here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can see the general trend was flat to slightly higher last week, really following this yellow line I've had on the charts. And the yellow line is an amazing trend line, stretching all the way back to the 21st of September, all the way through the high on the 30th, from the 30th to the high on the 5th of October, and these highs. And the markets really just followed that up. It was up a little bit above it, it was down a little bit, but ultimately it's ending right on that line. That seems to be the trend line that we're watching right now for a continued build in this market. But bottom line again, folks, on Tuesday, this market, I believe, will shape the move for the rest of the week. If these earnings come out poor for the financials will collapse again. If they come out better, maybe that helps save the market from any sort of sell-off next week. I think IBM and Apple, for the most part, have already factored in great earnings. It's going to be hard for me to imagine that Apple Computer can come in with better numbers after the run it's had. Remember, Apple Computer, just a little while ago, a couple months ago, was trading at 240 on the charts right here, 240, 235. The stock again is at 314. That's a huge move, folks. I mean, unbelievable move. We're talking about $80 move up in the stock price. Percentage-wise, market cap-wise, that's unbelievable. So you have to say to yourself, earnings better be good on Apple. They better be fantastic on Apple, or Apple will sell off. Now, they could blow them away, and maybe it goes up a little bit. I think there's maybe $10 upside. But ultimately, if they come in and don't show, and they even maybe talk about some slowing of anything, this stock could drop $20 to $25 on earnings. And again, you have a $10 upside, in my opinion, from wherever it closes on Monday up to the upside, especially from this 315 level, with a possibility of a $20 to $25 downside if earnings are poor. I think earnings are going to be good. It's just a matter, are they good enough? Same thing with IBM. IBM, I think, has gained a lot because they do a lot of sales overseas, so that helps earnings because the dollar has been dropping. As the dollar drops and they convert that money back into dollars, and the dollars, let's say they have yen, and they convert the yen back to dollars, they're getting more dollars because of the exchange rate, so that generally helps IBM. But at this point, again, look at the chart on IBM. What do you think it's going to do? I mean, go up another $3? Maybe, but I think there's more of a chance it drops 6 instead of going up 3. I would say that's, again, it's a 50% move to the upside as opposed to a 100% move on the downside. So 6 to the down would be 3 to the up kind of thing on this chart of IBM. And we'll watch again. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, again, going to be major also. So Monday afternoon, after hours, and Tuesday morning before the market opens is going to shape Tuesday in a major way. We have some economic news next week, but overall it's nothing major. I think at this point it's all about the dollar. Let's go to the dollar right now, folks. The dollar for the first time in quite some time showed a little bit of support. Notice this. Came right down to my top level here at the 2215 level, and you can see the X that I drew through on this chart showing where I like the chart. Where was this dollar going to be a buy? Right down here. Look at right here. It came right in that point. So again, believe it or not, pre-market on Friday it was at 2210 inside of this area with the X. By the open, it was back right above that blue line, that green line. And again, off of that move, we had a nice move up. I do think the dollar is due for a bounce. I would not be surprised if next week we start to see a little bit of upside on the dollar, which again could put a little pressure on the markets. But again, we have to remember what the Federal Reserve is doing, folks. The biggest scam, Ponzi scheme, in my opinion, in the history of the world is going on right now with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is in there propping the markets up. They're continuing to push the dollar down. They're printing money left and right. They're diluting your hard-earned dollars. Ultimately, we saw that with PPI. Producers already feeling the effects as the inflation is nipping at the producers' heels. Eventually, that will be pushed through, with gas and the rest of these things to food and energy to the average American, who some of these baby boomers are now on fixed retirement, and it is getting pushed through. So again, be aware of that, folks. This is something you have to be aware of. It's not, in my opinion, going to affect the markets in the short term, but down the line in 2, 3, 4 years, you will be talking about what I'm talking about right now. Well, I should say the media will be talking about it. Right now, they have their head in the sand. That's just the way it is. They always talk about stuff, a couple months after I talk about it in these videos or my partner Nick talks about it. But in any case, the dollar again looks like it may have bottomed out here. It could go down again back and retest the lows here right around the 22 to 22.10. That's November's 2009 lows on the dollar on the UUP here. But overall, I do expect a short-term bounce on the dollar is due after a massive, massive fall. Now, going back to the SPY, on the charts, folks, if we go to the dollar here, on the SPY daily chart, what you can see is if you continue up, so far you're hovering right on this 117.50-ish area. You closed above, you closed below, you closed basically on it as of Friday. This is a big level. You have not confirmed, using the in-the-money stocks confirmation signal, you have not confirmed above it. If you go up, you're looking at a move to 119.50-ish. That's your upside resistance, and then ultimately your 122 level. If you don't confirm and you start to drop, you're going to drop all the way back to this 20 moving average, in my opinion, which is right around this key level at 115 to 115.50. And if you get through that, you should go back and retest this major level right here, which is 2 moving averages, gap fill, and pivot low right here, stepping back to about the 111.75 to 112 level on the SPY. There you'd meet major support. That would be unbelievable support. Any move back in this range, folks, would be unbelievable support. Probably could be bought for a day or two bounce in the markets minimally, if not more. Okay? Stepping again back next week. Look for the volatility, again, to continue to increase. Tuesday is going to be a big day on this market. Wednesday and Thursday as well. Friday could be a little light. We'll, again, watch the dollar. Monday, again, should be, as long as the dollar is neutral or slightly lower, the markets overall should be very quiet on Monday. Again, unless something big happens over the weekend here. But so far, I have not heard anything, and it is Saturday when I'm doing this video. So, again, there's always a possibility on Sunday. But, again, it's going to be all about the dollar. If the dollar rallies sharply on Monday, then, yes, you will see some downside, and vice versa if the dollar drops sharply, you'll see some upside on the markets. But again, the volume should be light until we get those earnings announcements to Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning. All right, folks, one more time, come join the Research Center. Get involved now. The profits continue to be there for the taking. You need to understand the key analysis that we talk about, the proprietary things that we teach our members in the Research Center. Everything is in there you need. Swing trades, analysis of the markets, of the dollar, of oil, of commodities, anything out there that you can think of, including education and more. So join now, again, inthemoneystocks.com, Research Center, or Intraday Stock Chat if you want some intraday analysis as well. Take care. Have a great weekend, folks.